We love classic cars, and car companies love bringing them back. But if you ask me, they're not bringing back nearly enough of the right cars that they should be. So we put together a list of 10 classic cars that need to come back. This is D-List. Before we get into today's episode, I have a very special announcement to make.
D-List.
And therefore, me, James Pumphrey, are now sponsored by Valvoline. But I gotta admit, just between me and you guys, I'm pretty nervous because when you get an oil sponsor, you gotta do one thing really well, the pour. And I'm not so great at pouring anything. It's all yours. Oh, God! It's hard to watch, really. But this is an incredible opportunity. I mean, this is an automotive history show. And if there's one thing that stands out about Valvoline, it's their 150 plus year automotive history. Now, I can't let them down. I can't let my team down. I can't let you guys down or my country down. It's time to train. First oil made for racing. First high mileage oil. First synthetic blend. They introduced motor oil to America. Your engine's gotta get that good, fresh Valvoline. I'm the most dynamic man in automotive edutainment today. And I was born to pour!
You got this, buddy. This is for every kid out there who ever dreamed of being a spokesman for something. Hey, listen, you nail that pour. What a man.
James is going in for his first pour of the night, the moment we've all been waiting for. A little shaky on the approach. He's having some trouble with the hood. Come on, James, I'm rooting for you. Careful, James! He's taking off the cap, he's tipping the bottle, and he does it! It's the most beautiful pour I've ever seen in my entire adult life!
I just want to thank my family, my partners at Valvoline. Nolan! Nolan! Now, back to the show.
Plymouth Barracuda.
We did a YouTube community post, and this was by far one of the most requested. Some of you might not even remember Plymouth, much less the CUDA, but Plymouth was Chrysler's budget brand, tucked right underneath Dodge. Basically, the third gen CUDA shared the exact E-body chassis with the Dodge Challenger. They basically had the same engines and everything, but the CUDA was marketed as a more budget-friendly motor car. Now, Plymouth went belly up in 2001, 6 years after Post Malone was born, which is why the Plymouth PT Cruiser became the Chrysler PT Cruiser. So when Dodge brought the Challenger back a couple years ago, people were understandably peeved that the old CUDA was left dead on the docks. No catch and release here. They didn't even eat him. They just caught him and threw him there in a flop. Then his eyes got all white and he stunk. And a bunch of kids poked him with a stick. I saw a dead sea lion today. But peeve no longer, because I got a little proposal for my associates at Mopar. And yes, I am Mopar affiliated. Since the CUDA and Challenger were basically the same car, it wouldn't be hard to bring back the CUDA and finally give people what they want. Now, Dodge already has, not exaggerating, 13 different Challenger variants. So to make this one stand out, we'll have to do something a little extreme. Our version will have no power windows, no power mirrors, burlap seats, where my burlap boys at, a back seat that is one giant molded piece like a cop car, and the infotainment system is just a plug for your phone. You gotta use your phone. There's speakers, but your phone is the interface. The only luxuries in the car is a pistol grip shifter connected to the 392 Scat Pack V8 with a shaker hood, naturally. Change up the front to look like the original, slap some gills on the sides, and bam, bam, thank you, Margera. You got yourselves a CUDA. Please build this Dodge. Please.
Toyota MR2.
Now, this is another car that you guys and gals on that post wouldn't stop talking about. Just like that time last week when I shaved my beard and everyone thought that I was a different person. I'm the same guy. I just look worse. Toyota MR2 is one of the most beloved cars in the brand's long history of making beloved cars. It's an affordable mid-engine two-seater. Literally, the closest thing we have to that right now is the C8 Corvette, which is a very good value, but it still costs like $60,000. Now, it's been rumored that the Mr. 2 is coming back for a couple years now, and the hot goss is the Mr. 2 might come back as a hybrid or even electric. Now, hear me out. I think that makes perfect sense. Toyota is aiming to launch an entire line of EVs by 2025. So what's a better Halo car than the MR2? Tesla basically already proved this platform was good with the original Roadster, which was based on a mid-engined Lotus. Guys, I understand why we're reluctant to accept stuff like this. Change is hard, but electric cars are already faster than internal combustion cars. And I want someone to make one that normal people like you and me can drive. Unlike the Mustang Mach-E, this has potential to be an electric revival. An electric revival that doesn't disappoint an entire fan base. Nay, this could be a revelation. Number 8 is another underappreciated muscle car from the past. The Mercury Cougar was the more mature, slightly larger cousin to the iconic Ford Mustang. Most muscle cars of that era were marketed to power-hangry youngsters who didn't care about things like being comfortable. But the Cougar was designed and marketed to an older customer. You might not have realized it, but the Cougar was around for a surprisingly long time. I'm talking 35 years. I'm talking 8 generations. The last Cougar was a far catcall from its muscle car origins, fizzling out as a front-wheel drive chum bucket. But the Cougar name used to mean something, so if they bring the Cougster back, it's gotta be a lot more vascular than that front-wheel drive chum bucket. But like Plymouth, the brand that built the Cougar isn't around anymore. So we got to make the Cougar a trim level for an existing model in the Ford family. Just like the original Cougar, this buff cat needs to be comfy as heck. What I'm saying is a mega luxury Mustang, a Luxstang, if you will. I'm talking ultra premium leather from Lincoln, which is also owned by Ford. Charcoal wood grain on the dash, massage seats with air conditionings, and a magnetic ride suspension that would let the Cougar straight up eat miles on the interstate. And if that doesn't sound good to you, you're not old enough. The question is, what engine do you use in a gentleman's muscle car like this? Well, if it were up to me, and it is because this is a fantasy, I'd slap in the Coyote V8 from the Mach 1. Yes, I'm talking about putting an engine named after a dog from a car named after a horse in a car named after a cat. It sounds like the most dangerous turducken possible. But if that big fat puppy barks a little too loud for your liking, the 3.5 EcoBoost would be really, really good too. Maybe even throw an additional electric motor on the front wheels. This is my fantasy, you guys. Also, why don't we just go ahead and make this the four-door Mustang that they keep talking about? It's my fantasy, you guys. Don't look at me like that. Don't stop looking at me, though. Don't stop. Top this thing off with some old school touches like hideaway headlights and some really luxurious wheels, and you get a car that I wish would come out tomorrow. This next car was technically revived, sort of, but a lot of people wish that it wasn't. The original Honda CRX was a flat-backed derivative of the Civic produced between 84 and 91. In just 7 short years, the CRX made a huge impression, just like Game of Thrones. Despite the car's humble appearance, the light chassis and simple suspension made it feel like a go-kart, and not one of those go-karts at a mini golf place that haven't been tuned up since like 97, and you totally can't win if you're fat. I'm talking about a good go-kart from Mario Kart Land. Freaking Donkey Kong is just as fast as Toad. They were slow in the straights, but they were fantastic, and Honda tried to relieve the nostalgia with the CRZ in 2010. Now, today, people kind of look down on the CRZ, and I think it has to do with these 4 words. It was a hybrid. Brit. Despite the fact that the CRZ came with a manual transmission, which is very, very cool for a hybrid, a lot of people didn't think that the performance and driving feel lived up to the original, and the styling was... It was a little weird. It was a little weird. It was weird. Okay, it was a little weird. Not that weird is bad. I'm a little weird. Now, that's not to say that the car doesn't have a small yet very devoted following today, but it maybe could have been bigger if it was a little punchier. So how can we right this wrong? This time around, we'll call it the CRX. While the CRZ was a spiritual successor, our car will be a direct sequel, like two top, two gun. Just like the original, all a CRX needs to be is a Civic Si with a flat butt. Behold this crude render that the director / editor of this show, Max, put together. Tell me you wouldn't want to drive this.
Tell me. Say it to my face. Say it to Max's face.
I'd give it the same turbo VTEC engine that's in the Civic Si, connected to a 6-speed manual. Duh. I think a little turbo could redeem that tuner cred and make a resurrected CRX a serious contender against similar weirdo hot hatches like Nolan's favorite car or my favorite set of twins' favorite car, the Hyundai Veloster. Do you guys know if the straight pipes are fraternal twins or identical twins? I mean, because they look a lot alike, but maybe not exactly alike. Nolan thinks that they're identical, and I think they might be fraternal, but just look a lot alike. Let us know in the comments below. Lancia is responsible for one of the greatest, best looking, gnarliest little rally cars ever, the Delta Integrale. The regular Delta was a front wheel drive economy hatchback, but the Integrale was an all wheel drive weapon. It's probably the #1 car I would buy if you gave me enough money to buy whatever car I wanted. And I know I say that a lot, but this time I mean it. So what is Lancia up to these days? Well, let's take a look. Oh, it's the Ypsilon, or Ypsilon, the company's only car for sale right now. Look at it. Guys, this company needs help, and I have a prescription. Bring back the Delta. Make it a kind of squarish hatchback, retro but not too retro. Give it quad headlights and slap on some Albert wheel drive, maybe even a bump in power, and bing bang boom, thank you, we're done. Our creation would fit right in on the World Rallycross starting grid. And if Lancia doesn't have enough money to develop an entirely new car, which is expensive, they should do what literally almost every other car company is doing right now and joint develop it with someone else. Partner up with Mitsubishi, bring back a proper Evo. Hell, this car used to be called the Evo. Is that a coincidence? I don't know, guys. There's no such thing as coincidences. I'm not even a real person. You guys made me up. All cars are boys. In 1978, the fastest American car from 0 to 100 miles an hour was a truck. This truck also had one of the absolutely cutest names of any vehicle ever. Little Red Express. So why did Dodge build a fast truck? Well, emissions restrictions on the big V8s didn't apply to trucks. So Dodge put a honking 360 cubic inch V8 with a 4-barrel carb under the hood of a Ram pickup. They put on a sportier and less practical side step bed and installed the most iconic modification to this model: stack exhausts. They serve no practical purpose other than looking completely badass. This little red wagon was one of the last factory hot rods of the 70s. It basically closed out the muscle car era in Detroit. They sold less than 10,000 units between 78 and 79. All the cars on this list, the Little Red Express is probably the one that has the best chance of making a comeback, because Dodge loves building crazy cars that no other car company in their right mind would approve of. While other companies are focusing on hybrid and electric stuff, Dodge is literally throwing a burnout party at the end of the world. I talk to Dodge on the phone sometimes. I said that to them and they were like, yeah, Yeah, we're throwing a burnout party at the end of the world. Dodge already has plans to build the Ram TRX this summer, a 707 horsepower Tyrant built to go against the Ford Raptor. But I think that they should make a street version too. And what better nameplate than the Little Red Express? Here's how I would do it. I would take a regular cab, short bed Ram 1500 chassis. I mean, they already call it the Express. Coincidences, guys. I'd drop a Hellcat motor in there, fab up some side steps, and give it those freaking exhaust stacks. I'm telling you, it would pair perfectly with the TRX. Here's proof. All right. Tiny red Express. Everything's connected! Here's a render of the Little Red Express that our friend Abimelec Designs made. It's sick. This next one is so obvious. I can't even believe that I even have to put it on this list of cars they need to bring back. What if you wanted the all-out performance of a car, but the practicality of a truck? What you get is what Australians call a ute, and the best known ute that America ever got is the Chevy El Camino. Introduced in 1959 and running all the way to 1987, the Elkie is a folk hero, looked down on by elitists, but embraced by the working man. The El Camino was a nearly perfect concept. It's like the Bruce Springsteen of cars. I got a car front end, but I got the butt of a truck. Now, taking into account how angular Chevy's design language is today, a modern iteration of the 69 El Camino would probably be Chevy's best looking model. Look, I know I've upset a lot of you Australians over the course of the last few episodes. Damn near the entire history of this show. With my inexcusable mistake of calling the Holden Maloo's tub a bed. But I'm still trying to right that wrong, all right? And to do that, we're gonna build the Elkie in Australia. Open up the Holden factories, stimulate the economy. You guys are gonna have so much money that you can buy all the grilled foods that you want. Crab on the grill. I love Jeeps. I love Jeeps. There's nothing like driving a Wrangler with my top off and also its top off, crawling over rocks and going through streams and creeks. But there's only one problem. Jeeps go beep beep, but they sure ain't cheap. Also, they're 100 feet long now. There needs to be a cheaper, dare I say daintier option for those who get their kicks off-road. We got to bring back the Suzuki Samurai, you guys. We got to bring back the Suzuki Samurai. Say it with me. We got to bring back the Suzuki Samurai, you guys. In 1987, the Suzuki Samurai started at $6,500, a little under 15 grand in today's money. They were minimalist, but well built. People weren't expecting anything fancy. They just wanted to drive around with the top down and their shirt off and go off-road. And the Samurai was perfect for that. Now, like the CRX, the Samurai has already come back, kinda. Suzuki has the Jimny. It's very basic like the Samurai. It's cheap like the Samurai. And it looks like a heck of a lot of fun like the Samurai. It's also important to note that it's very small. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the Jimny is coming in the US anytime soon, which sucks. And unless Suzuki spends a ton of money updating the little off-roader to past tech, it'll never come here, even if we wish it could. If you guys want to know more about why certain cars aren't allowed to be sold in the US, it's pretty infuriating. Check out this episode of the D List. It's actually our first episode about awesome cars that we didn't get in America. All right, this one is going to be a stretch, but I don't care because it needs to come back. Ford doesn't build cars for the US anymore, all right? They killed the Focus and the Fiesta in the US, and the only cars they build now are the Mustang and the Fusion. It sucks, but here lies the twist. I'm not saying that we bring back the Focus and the Fiesta. I'm saying they bring back another hot hatch that they killed years ago, the Ford Escort. Back in the day when rally was insane, Ford built a Group A homologation race car out of the Escort, the docile economy car, but they made a beast version. This beast version was literally a beast. The Escort RS Cosworth was all-wheel drive, turbocharged, and had one of the best looking wings the world has ever seen. It never won a WRC title, but it did win hearts all over the world before being replaced by the Focus. And here is how I would bring it back. Ford had an all-wheel drive turbo rally beast in their stable until recently with the Focus RS. Now we're going to take that, make it two-door, give it a more aggressive fastback hatch, and give it a swallowtail spoiler just like the Escort RS. Then we're gonna call it the Escort and watch as people all over the country make dubious financial decisions to afford the crazy dealer markup that this thing is gonna have. Now, I'm not saying it would be a success. I'm just saying that it would be cool, just like most of the guys I looked up to in high school. Time for our number one pick for classic cars that they need to bring back. We've had a lot of fun with this episode of the D-List. It's like a freaking brain party. And if there's one thing that me and Max and Nolan and Joe all love, it's a freaking brain party. So let's call an Uber and send this brain party home. In 1974, Dodge went to bat against the Blazer and the Bronco with a rowdy off-roader of their own called the RAMCHARGER. It was based on the Ram pickup. It had two doors and a removable roof. It was designed for having fun, and it succeeded. Dodge built the RAMCHARGER in the US until 1993, but there were versions sold outside the US until 2001. Now, I'm no scientist from Jurassic Park, but I think the formula is pretty simple. Use a short bed Ram, give it a long roof that comes off, the Pack 392 and four-wheel drive. Raise it up a bit and put some knobby boys on there. Bing, bang, boom. Let's go Froden. You guys want to go camping this weekend? All right, yeah, let me check my calendar. It's over here. I'm available. We have a certain affinity for the term RAMCHARGERs here at Donut. RAMCHARGER! But beyond that, we just think this will be a really, really fun truck and a really, really good time. So, I don't know. If anybody from Dodge is watching, consider it. I want to give a big, huge shout out to everyone who contributed ideas on our community post. Basically, you guys helped write this episode, and that is so cool. I want to do more stuff like that in the future. If you like this video, check out this episode of Wheelhouse. It's called Why Cars Suck Now. It's hosted by one of my best buds, Nolan. It's really, really good. You should check it out. If this is your first donut video or your first car video, welcome aboard. I'm glad to have you. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss anything new. We put out a new video dang near every day. I love you.